yeah. Welcome to Big Boof Bets. It's the Get That Money podcast. I am Nate Stevenson, and as always, I'm joined by Mr. Big Boofy Skirman and Mr. Tony T-Bone Guarino. I'd ask how everybody's doing, but I already know. So, I don't even really want to ask that question. But here we go. How y'all doing?
I guess I'm doing as good as I can be. Pick sucked last week. The Steelers sucked last week. And all I have is a little bit of Mac Jones love and a nice payout to somewhat salvage the weekend for me.
Yeah, I would, unfortunately, Boof, I'm with you on all of those for the exception of the Mac Jones payout because I did not heed your advice. So my weekend sucked even more than yours did. How about yours, Tone?
Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. I'll spare you from the whole song this time, but Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl. I just hope they have room on that wagon up there. I mean, that's the bandwagon, of course.
There's always room. When you circle the wagons, there's always room for one more time.
I just want to join that circle. I just want to be brought in on that. Buffalo, here we go.
Hey, at least, our two favorite teams are, still left in the playoffs since we've jumped on some bandwagons here. Chiefs.
But yeah, a lot of good football left to be played, obviously. And hey, we're still going here. Like we harken back. Amazing. We got 17 weeks of NFL in, and we're still going into playoffs. So let's just keep this thing going.
That's right. And I will do my best to not go on a Steeler rant wanting to fire everybody. So to avoid that, Boof, how about we move on? I don't really want to, but let's take a look at last week's locks.
Thank you, Nate. I am not 100%, but I'm pretty sure we had a podcast worst 1-5 record last week. Losers were the Bills -6.5, Rams and Seahawks under 43, Bears +10, Steelers -6, and the Steelers and Browns to go under 47.5. Our lone winner was the pick that, if I'm being honest, I felt we were the most bold about, was the Titans and Ravens to go under 55. And turns out that was the only one that actually won for us. Props went 8 and 9. And our totals for the season now. For locks, we are 94, 79, and 7 with a 54.34% success rate. And our props are 174 and 143 with a 54.89% success rate. So winning betting still, but obviously the last few weeks have hurt the percentage a little bit.
Yeah, I think we all know what Kirk Cousins would say about this past week. I don't like that!
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, let's see if there's something you can like about this week. Let's start things off on Saturday with the earlier game, which is the Los Angeles Rams at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers laying 6.5, and you're over/under at 45.5.
So, in doing some research, as we always do for these games, one of the most interesting things I heard about the Rams quarterback situation is there was a dude doing an interview with a bookmaker, and he was trying to understand, asking the bookmaker questions about why, what the Rams line would be with Goff in or out. And to summarize everything he said, the guy basically said it would be the same. It would be +3 with Goff in or with John Wolford in. And he's like, okay, well, what would the line be if, say a guy like Russell Wilson didn't play? He's like, it would change by 6 or 6.5 points. And he's like, he was just like dumbfounded, as am I. And basically what that was saying is right now, bookmakers are saying they don't care who plays quarterback for the Rams because it's not a downgrade to not play Jared Goff at quarterback just because of how bad he's looked. To me, that says a lot. And you have the Packers that they have a bunch of film on Goff. They've seen basically how they're going to use Wolford if he's even able to play, if he would play. But I'm assuming it's still going to be Goff at this point. Goff is going up to Lambeau Field. It's supposed to be cold. Last time he played in a really, really cold game, the Rams scored 6 points against the Chicago Bears 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. Like, the Rams are not the greatest show on turf that they used to be. They don't have a great quarterback. They don't have a high-flying offense. They're going to be relying on their defense. And I don't want to be going up to Lambeau Field relying on my defense to stop Aaron Rodgers having one of his best seasons ever, who is used to dealing with everything that Lambeau Field presents. So to me, Packers minus 6.5 is an easy bet. I also like the under 45.5 because I don't expect the Rams to score. And I do expect the Rams D to give Devontae Adams all the attention that he needs, which includes having Jalen Ramsey on him all game. So I'm very intrigued to see how that matchup goes. But even with that, I expect the Packers to score enough and the Rams to not do very much on offense for me to cover both of those. So give me the Packers minus 6.5 and under 45.5. And I'm going to start the week off 2-0.
I find myself on the opposite end of both of those picks. Yesterday, you were able to get the Rams at +7, so I would definitely wait for it to come back up to that number. I was impressed with what the Rams did against Seattle. Defensively, I do think they have the answer to the Packers, and Nate already touched on. I mean, Jalen Ramsey on Devontae Adams. If they're able to shut him down with just one guy, that's huge because I don't really think too highly of the rest of the Packers pass catchers there. And then as far as the over-under is concerned, Green Bay has only played in 2 games that did not go over that number. So for me, this is an over kind of game. And again, even just last week in a game that we expected to be low scoring with the Rams and Seahawks, the Rams went over a very similar number last week. So I think the Rams will be able to score. Jared Goff's thumb should, in theory, should be better. He's going to have another week to just kind of rest it and let it heal some more. And I think these are numbers that the Rams can cover. For me, if you want to play the Packers, I would tease them, and you would get them down to half a point at that point. And you could go with either Baltimore or the Bucks, and you would get either of those teams above a touchdown getting points. I think either of those would be solid teaser options.
All right, well, moving on to the second game on Saturday, the primetime game, of course. It will be the Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. Bills laying 2, and you're over-under at 50.
It's time to circle the wagons, baby. Boof, let's go. What we got?
Well, we got the Bills -2, baby. Last week, we had a spread of 7, tough one to cover. They were in control, and then in the fourth quarter, they kind of got a little soft on defense on me and gave up a couple easy touchdowns to the Colts. I wouldn't call it quite a backdoor bad beat or anything like that, but I did feel they let up defensively from an aggressiveness standpoint. Now, here we are against Baltimore. Baltimore started last week down 10-0 and was able to come back against Tennessee. I think Tennessee kind of let them off the hook with kind of a refusal to change their game plan when it was very clear that Baltimore was going to make sure Derrick Henry wasn't going to be able to run the ball. And Tennessee was actually having a little bit of success throwing the ball. Now we play a Buffalo team that, for me, is completely different offensively, much more dynamic in the passing game. And they've been cover machines really the entire second half of the season, sans last week. I think we get back on track. It's only -2, and I love the Bills -2.
Yeah, I love a lot of what the Bills do offensively, defensively. I mean, we've been beating that horse for a while now about how impressed we are by them and Josh Allen. So it's really this game really depends on what Ravens team we get. More specifically, what Lamar Jackson we get. He finally got over the playoff hump last week by getting that first win. But, I mean, it was still only 20-13. It's not like the Ravens scored a ton of points. I think if the Ravens only score 20 points, they're in trouble. I mean, the Bills can, in my opinion, an off game for the Bills is they're scoring at least 24 points. And I do respect the Ravens D, their coaching staff. I mean, their team in general. I do think they're a good team. I think either of these teams could actually give the Chiefs a game next week. But I do think the better team here is the Bills, and quite frankly, I am rooting for a Bills Chiefs AFC Championship game because I think that's just going to be a phenomenal game. But yeah, I think Bills -2. We're under a field goal here. They're at home. They're going to put the Ravens in a position where they have to play catch up, and that's just, even though they did come from 10 down against Tennessee, which is a rarity for that Ravens offense, they generally just struggle when they get behind. And if the Bills can get ahead, which I expect them to do, I think that's going to put the Ravens in a really tough position. So give me the Bills -2. I also like under 50 in this game as well. If you could have got it earlier in the week, I believe at 50.5 or 51, that would have been even better. So potentially consider buying a couple points on that. But the Ravens have gone under this total in all 3 of Lamar Jackson's playoff games thus far. 28-12 against the Titans last year, and then I can't remember the exact score against the Phillip Rivers-led Chargers, but I know that was way under the total of 50 as well. And then obviously last week 20-13. So I do expect the total to also go under. So give me Bills -2 and under 50 points. And I believe we do have at least one lock here. Do we not, Boof?
Yes, Bills -2, and let's lock it in, baby.
Oh, yeah. Get that money.
All right, well, that wraps up the Saturday of the divisional round here. So let's move on into Sunday, where we will start things off with the Cleveland Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs laying 9.5, and the over-under at 56.
I will be buying the Chiefs up to -20.5 in one of my parlays. And maybe
I'll pizza box that.
I will take that pizza box. I mean, let's go, baby. I'll start pizza boxing everybody. Nathan pizza box the world.
They barely covered 4.5 this year on games they should cover, so I'll definitely take that, and I'll gladly ride that pizza box all the way home.
Don't care, baby. The Chiefs are the '90s Bulls. They're the Warriors of this past decade. It's playoff time. It's time to turn it on.
All right, well, we got podcast first. My own pizza box with you, Nate.
I love it. We got a Toad pizza box.
Let's go, Toad. I mean, like I said, I'll pizza box the world on the Chiefs. I will live and die with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going against a Browns team that still is the Browns. And Juju, this is when you use that. This is when you say they're the Browns, not when they're playing you, when they're playing the Chiefs. Browns is the Browns. Browns is going to be the Browns. They're going to get scrubbed by the Chiefs. We're laying 9.5. To me, that's a slam dunk. And this sounds like I'm totally disrespecting the Browns, and I am. So it's just because I'm not being a sore losing Steelers fan. I'm not. I really am not. This is purely my handicap of the game. The Steelers deserved to lose last week. I'm not even going to get into that. But the Browns they're a team that has improved. They had their Super Bowl last week. They made the playoffs. They won their first playoff game in a long time. They beat the Steelers at home for the first time in a long time, meaning in Pittsburgh. And now it's like you had all that adversity, a bunch of coaches not there, a bunch of players not there, all these things. Now you're going to Kansas City to face the best offense in the league, the best quarterback in the league, the defending champions. And now you think a defense that just let up 37 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know a lot of that was them just, trying to get the game over with and play soft. I don't care. There was still a decent part of that game where the Browns were trying to stop the Steelers, and the Steelers just started scoring once they got their head on straight. Now you got the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Le'Veon Bell, Allaire. You have so many weapons. I didn't even name them all. And Ward, okay, you got Ward back, you got Johnson back. That's fine. I mean, the best corners in the league still struggle to cover these guys. And the Browns have no one at safety. They have one pass rusher now because Vernon's out. So that means all you got to do is double team Garrett, and Patty Mahomes can just sit back there all day and pick them apart. I'm predicting a complete and utter Chiefs beatdown. lay the minus 20.5. Tony going to lose his first pizza box, and the Chiefs literally are sitting the starters in the fourth quarter because this game has gotten so out of hand. I'm so confident. I'm going to be making so many units on this game. Let's go, baby. I'm excited.
All right. Chiefs minus 9.5 is the actual line. And that'll be the one we're rolling with here. I am also on board with it. I do not expect the Chiefs to snap a ball over Patrick Mahomes' head and gift wrap touchdown number 1 for Cleveland. I do not expect them to follow it up with the second drive and throw an interception that gets returned to like the 10 and gift wrap touchdown number 2 for Cleveland. I do not expect them to have their middle linebacker covering Jarvis Landry all game and gift wrap them a bunch of easy third downs. Plenty of extra turnovers that I don't even need to mention from the Steelers game as well. I do not expect the Chiefs to give them those either. So, with that being said, I think the Chiefs win in a beatdown. Minus 9.5 is not going to be a problem, and we have our second lock this week.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Chiefs! Minus 20.5.
All right, well, that takes us into our final divisional round game, which will be the Sunday primetime game featuring the Tampa Bay Bucks at the New Orleans Saints. Saints laying 3, and the over-under at 51.5.
All right, so we have Mr. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers getting 3 points against a Saints team that they have already lost twice to. I feel like this is a trap, but I can't not take the 3 with Tampa Bay here. It's really hard, and history would say that it's really hard for a team to beat another team 3 times in a year. It happens, but it's not very common. It's just, the familiarity aspect of it, and obviously if teams are playing 3 times, that means they're meeting in the playoffs, so they're both good teams. And you're giving Tom Brady 3 times to see a Saints defense now with a fully acclimated Antonio Brown. And they've been getting hot going into the playoffs. I think the points of Tampa Bay here, it's just too good to pass up. And I just don't trust Drew Brees in the playoffs anymore. They got it done last week against the Bears. It wasn't really a super aggressive game plan. And I can't get the last 3 years out of my mind with the Saints playoff failures and just Drew Brees looking old. And in a battle of old quarterbacks, one looks old and one is defying father time. So, yeah, I love the 3 points of Tampa Bay here. So I will take that and go to the window with my units.
I see this one the other way. The first game between these guys was week 1. Saints win at 34-23. And I remember going into the second game thinking like, okay, Brady threw a pick 6. The Saints got like a cheap onside kick. That wasn't even an onside kick attempt. Like the Bucs just didn't even field the kickoff. I think there was a blocked punt. And I just thought it was all, fluky stuff. So going into the second game, which was at Tampa Bay, I was thinking it was going to be a different result. And the Saints came out and whooped them 38-3. And Antonio Brown did play in that game. And I found myself here in the third one, and I just got to say to myself, like, the Saints match up well against the Bucs, and they have their number. And I'm sitting here, it's only 3 points. I know the Bucs have been playing well. But at the same time, they didn't smoke Washington last week. That's a 7-9 football team. So I like the Saints -3. That's where I will be going to the window with my units. And how about pizza box on that one, Nate?
Oh, all day. Nate pizza boxes the world this week.
Let's do it. You can take on the whole podcast crew, baby.
Let's get it. I'll get that money.
All right. Well, I can't wait to take my easy pizza box for my first victory with the generous gift that Nate gave me. But
11 points.
Yeah, again, you're given, I take.
Moving forward, I am down to pizza box any game with you where you want to sell 11 points. Let me put that out there.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for
And
him.
I will be sure to let you know every time I win.
All right.
Very
So,
Fair enough. Well, that does it for the divisional round games. Obviously not many because there's not many left. But as always, then, Boof, I will toss it back to you to wrap up those locks.
all right, we got a long slate this week. We have the Bills -2 and the Chiefs -9.5. And that's it. So, Nate, how about a little couple parlays for the people here?
Oh yeah, we got a myriad of parlays for the people here. We are actually going to start off with my friend Tony's favorite number, parlay number 5 on FanDuel. We have a 4-leg parlay number 5, parlay of parlays. And we're going to start with Green Bay -5.5 and under 53.5 for +125. The Bills -0.5 point and under 58.5 for at +135. The Chiefs -8.5 and under 64.5 at +130. And Tampa Bay +5.5 and under 59.5 at +120, which gives you +25.75 on the odds. So that's that's the big guy of the week right there. And then the next one we're going to hit up here is just all the spreads, all the results I personally like here. Obviously, me and Boof don't see eye to eye on all of them, so this is going to be a very interesting podcast next week, I'm sure. So we're going to go Green Bay -6.5, Bills -2, Chiefs -10, and Tampa Bay +3. And just a 4-leg spread parlay gives you +1230. Or if you want to join me on the Tony Pizza Box, you can swap out KC -10 for KC -20.5 for +250, and that'll jump your parlay up to +2339. You can enjoy those units with me. And then we are just going to do a straight 7-point teaser on all the spreads I just said, which will bring Green Bay to +0.5 point, Bills +5, the Chiefs -3, and Tampa Bay +10. Again, that's a 7-point teaser, which will bring you +180 on the odds, $100 bet, $180. I feel like that one's pretty safe. And then last but not least, we're just trying to make some money here. We have 2 get out of jail frees, and we're going to go Packers money line, Bills money line, KC halftime, full time, and Tampa Bay +10.5, which gives you +355 on that 4-leg parlay. Or if you're a little sketchy on the Bills Ravens, because those I feel like that's probably the 2 closest match teams of the week. Actually, Tampa Bay Saints are pretty close too. But we're getting more points on the Buccaneers, so we're just going to take that Ravens-Bills game out of there and just go Packers money line, KC halftime, full time, and Tampa Bay +10.5, which still gives you +153. So $100 bet, $153. That's a lot of what I'm doing this weekend. And as Boof and Tony knows, I literally just will machine gun spread parlays all over the place as I see fit. So that's kind of where I'm starting, and I'm going to go from there. I plan to make a lot of units. I hope we've helped you guys make a lot of units this week. And let's recover from last week. What do you say, Boof?
Definitely looking forward to putting last week behind us and getting back on track with this one.
Indeed. Sounds good.
Yeah, make sure you guys check us out on social media for our props this weekend. Those will be out Saturday morning. And beyond that, best of luck to everybody, and let's get that money.
Oh, yeah. Get that money. Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs.
We like pizza in the morning. We like pizza every day. We like pizza in the evening. We like pizza anyway.
I like pizza, pepperoni, mozzarella and anchovy. I like pizza with salami, eggs and cheese and oregano.